Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hindsight. I'm Vani from Kalari Capital. As Kalari marks 20 years of investing in India, I've noticed that as companies grow and become successful, we rarely understand the full background story. So, we wanted to create a space to talk about that in hindsight. What were the indicators of that bold idea that actually worked? That is the unseen journey. And that's what I'd love to capture with our guests today, Nishchay, the founder of JAR, a savings app that has taken over by storm and today has, if I'm not wrong, uh, over 35 million users. That's really big for any fintech company. So today we have an opportunity to hear from Nishchay what worked and, of course, what didn't. Nishchay, welcome to Hindsight, and I really appreciate you taking the time for us to have this dialogue on how it all started.
Thank you so much, Vani. Glad to be here.
So, Nishchay, for every founder, there is a initial startup hypothesis. And in your case, with JAR, how much of that has remained intact? But what has evolved with time? Because no idea is ever static.
Yes. See, we did not start JAR looking at an opportunity. It was not an engineered behavior. It was an emergent outcome. I personally saw how fragile personal finance was during COVID. I helped a couple of friends and family during that time. What surprised me was people worked all their life and still was struggling with cash flow by third month of lockdown. They had no access to credit and they had no insurance. That was the epiphany moment that the current products do not resonate with majority Indians. They don't understand any of it. Three basic challenges: financial literacy, everything is in English, and third, it's too intimidating. You don't know where to start. So we felt a simplified approach to personal finance with a strong foundation around savings in an asset class that they understand will be the way to go. And we have been lucky enough that we never had to pivot from where we started. What surprised us is how deeply this simple belief resonated. A simple belief that small things done consistently, repeatedly, will change lives. A small belief that savings need not be intimidating, distant, or elite, and a simple belief that behavior change need not be forced; it can be designed. We have been lucky enough that we never had to pivot.
And that's amazing because for most ideas, there is, some evolution as you learn about market. In this case, you hit the mother lode, you found a problem, and you were very right on that problem. But still talking about those beginnings, when you chose your co-founders, what were the qualities that you looked for and what was non-negotiable? A lot of times we think there's no perfection, we have to compromise, which of course is okay. But within that, there has to be something that's non-negotiable. What was that for you in choosing co-founders? And looking back, what would you do differently today if you could?
Got it. I'm not sure what I would have done differently because this is my only stint as a founder. And so far, I keep telling everyone that I mean, it's been 5 years now and I don't find it hard or I don't find it uh, jarring to see his face on a Monday morning. I'm looking forward to meeting him on Monday morning. So I think we have done something right. For me, velocity matters a lot. The intensity matters a lot, and he plays right along with me. And end of the day, it's fun to hang out with him. We really gel. We don't mind taking our cars out at 2 in the night, going out, looking for a coffee shop, have a coffee, speak about random things, come back home. That kind of friendship is what's working out for us. And at the same time, we set the boundaries very clearly in the beginning of the journey. I will take call on few things, and he has to simply believe me or trust me that my call is probably better amongst the two. It may not be the best in the world, but if we both had to come up with a solution for a particular problem statement, of the two problem solutions, probably mine is the best. For few things, it is him. Never question him on product, people,
So, who
engineering.
was this co-founder? You knew this person before. How did you pick your co-founder?
See, I and Misbah, we go back many years. I don't even remember when was the first time I met him, actually. It was almost 8, 9, 10 years now, I believe. And he had just exited out of his last startup in 2020 during peak of COVID. And he had moved his base from Bangalore to Delhi to Bangalore. And we used to catch up quite often for coffee and all. And during one of these days, we were discussing about money as a problem. I was telling him how I found out that how fragile personal finance is, how people had no discipline, no savings, no credit, no insurance. And he kind of resonated, and he comes from a humble beginnings, typical middle class families from Bihar. And we kind of resonated a lot. And two things worked. We were good friends, and we really cared about the problem statement. And we had first hand experience of being on the both sides of the spectrum, where we were brought up in a family with a lot of constraints, and once we started earning, we kind of not just uplifted but also started seeing a pattern, and we both resonated that this need not be this difficult. That worked out for us.
Mm, mm. So, in your case, it's a co-founder you knew very well, and both of you were very passionate about the problem. That was uh, probably the non-negotiable. Um,
Yes.
then, not so much only with co-founder. It could be employees. It could be a partner. It could be board and investors, of course. How do you handle hard conversations? Do you take them head on, or do you noodle over it, put it off for a bit, and then come back to it? What's your personal approach to having the difficult conversation? And has that evolved in any way with time?
See, I personally believe any difficult conversation needs to be had as soon as possible. A radical candor needs to be practiced at every juncture within the company. We should be very transparent on what's happening or what I'm feeling right now, where I feel someone is lagging, where I feel someone needs to change the course, and all of those things. But of course, what has changed over the last 5 years since we started building Jar was how what was the role of empathy in this radical candor, in this hard conversations. Well, meaning you need to know the strengths of each one of your partners, your co-founder, your team, your investors, everyone. You need to understand what are their strengths, what are their weak points. If something to do with their weak points, how do you approach the topic and all of those things. Empathy has certainly evolved in me over last 5 years on how do I approach these hard conversations. Earlier, it was, in all honesty, brute force. It was like ruthless pragmatism versus sentimentalism. So I always tell Misbah that uh, is it Krishna or Karna? The whole approach.
Uh, no, I like the word radical candor, but a leader needs to have both. Uh, One without the other is uh, practically useless. But
I mean,
yes,
the job of the team is to look out for your partners, right?
yes,
Like, someone is, say, someone might be great in growth, may not understand design so well. Someone
yeah,
might great in branding, but don't understand something else in the company, or someone need not understand both. But engineering team, we what me and Misbah see is we are kind of a bunch of missionaries running a team of mercenaries.
yes, yes. No, I think you put it very nicely. Now, on a different topic, when you're a first time founder just starting out, perhaps most founders come from more technical background than marketing background. So all these jargons, tam, sam, all these can be confounding. And how did you in the early days articulate your actual market size and convince, of course, yourself, but others that this is a winnable opportunity? How did you size the market?
See, we did two types. One was pure instinct, pure gut, which said that who doesn't need gold? Like the richest man in the country, his wife also needs gold, his kids also needs gold, and he also needs gold for his own consumption, for gifting, for gifting the biggest jewelry to the Tirupati temple, to everything. Everyone needs gold. The last man in the country needs gold. It's a pure instinct. Second is that means gold kind of resonates with everyone. Second is everyone needs savings. These two things comes through the gut, but when you are explaining to the much larger audience, you need to paint a larger picture that how big the opportunity is. We took simple metrics around how many people are banked, how many people are already on UPI, but how small the uh, uh, size of people who are investing in stock market and mutual funds. And we simply explained how big the opportunity is. And we went about telling why there is a gap, why people don't invest in mutual funds, why they don't invest in equity, why they don't do things they don't do, how the systems are so intimidating, so pretentious, and it's kind of off-putting a common man. For example, there could be a businessman, very successful, meaning small shop. It could be kirana shop. He's putting food on the table. He's getting good education for his kids, good healthcare for his family, comfortable living, and all of those things. But say he probably speaks only Kannada. Today, if he walks into an ICICI bank, he feels very uncomfortable because everyone at the uh, bank doesn't speak Kannada most of the times now, and he is made felt uneducated, illiterate. uh, all the things is reduced to whether he can speak or not speak English or Hindi. And we explained these three things. The relevance is very high. The market opportunity is too big, and the existing players are not solving. They are designing it only for the 1% population, and that's our right to win. We know, we understand our consumers. We have a greater empathy. We are building products something they want, and they will choose naturally.
No, I think it's a very smart way to have a very clear understanding of the customer. But that brings me to the another thought. Um, how did you think about who is my earliest customers? Okay, whether they're speaking English or not speaking English. How did you approach that early customer segment? Right today, when you have 35 million users, getting to 40 million users, I'm not saying that's easy, but in some ways is more of a journey that's understood. But getting your first 50,000 users, 100,000 users is not easy. So,
Yes.
how did you approach that? And in the early journey of customer acquisition, what surprised you, or what are your critical insights?
Thanks to the kind of family I come from a very large joint family,
Yes.
and my dad were seven brothers, and everyone was in different profession. And one of my uncles was a stockbroker, and my dad and my uncle used to share a common shop where he used to run his trading desk, and my dad used to run his store. And what surprised is a lot of I used to sit in the shop all the time. That was expected out of us that you need to man the shop. And what surprised me back then was so many people used to come. They used to do zero research. They simply ask where should I invest, and they will invest. They kind of outsource their entire decision making process. Very few people have the tenacity to go through all the things required to be learned before investing in a certain equity or a mutual fund or whatever it is. They simply look for social proof. It's like my chacha is investing from last 20 years. He told me to invest in this, I invested. It was as simple as that. So we borrowed that simplicity of outsourcing the decision making to the product, where what we did was we built a army of interns all over the country who are in tier 2 towns, still in college, and we created WhatsApp groups, shared simple funny things about money and its struggles, not talking about wealth, not talking about systemic investment plans, nothing. Simple, fun, engageable content. And when we approach near the product launch, we share them the product link. Now, so assume there is you're living in, say, tier 2 town, say you're in Mandya or Mysore or something like that, and you have someone in the family who's in 19, 20 years old, he's in second year college. He comes and tells you that, hey, I'm doing this internship with this company. They're building a simple savings platform. You can start with as low as 10 rupees. Now you have a reason to help him out. And that's how we got our first 1,000+ users. And then afterwards, it's brute force, because savings is not something which is pull product; it's a push product. You need to create, and you need to set up that theater. You need to create that urgency. You need to create that trust in consumers to scale at larger volumes. But initial first 1,000 users came through interns.
And it was okay to get that very low, uh, low deposit. You were okay with that.
Yes. So we knew this will work only at larger scale. You need to achieve a critical mass to cross that cost barrier. And as you scale, you work on improving your average ticket size with the consumers. You need to earn their trust. You need to make them confident to save more. It's not just that they trust me; they need to trust themselves. They should feel that this is a journey that I can take. If someone turns up at the gym on first day, I show them all missionaries and tell you have to do all these things, they run away. First they turn up, they say nothing, no weights, nothing, no push-ups, nothing. You just walk 20 minutes straight on treadmill. That's all. Next day you start with a couple of curls with 1 kilo bars. And after so many days or months, you start doing shoulder workouts, squats, or 100, so many different things, right? It's a simple journey where you start with small ticket. And once he's confident, he will only try. I should try with 5 kilo dumbbells, or I should try with 10 kilo dumbbells. It's the confidence that comes within. And we had to wait for that.
So, in your business, financial services, let's say, especially savings, notoriously the problem is you could have, let's call it 1,000 crore AUM, but you may not have a very sustainable revenue model. So it's not just the AUM. Okay, people are saving 10 rupees or 100 rupees or whatever each, and they're doing that consistently. So your AUM keeps growing. But that's different from unit economics and revenue model, which finally is also a key, if not ultimate measure of value of your business. So what signals gave you the confidence, not just that people need this product and you're passionate about the problem, but that you are actually building a company where scale will compound value for you, and compounding value is more than AUM. It's really your ability to, through whatever means, create a actual revenue for the business.
Yes. See, before getting into Jar, I was with Bounce. I was good for 7 years there, and there we worked on very. I was heading engineering, then I was heading supply, then I was heading new initiatives, business, and all of those things. And I had enough learning experience, and thanks to very strong financial fundamentals at Bounce, we knew how to measure things, and we knew where the leverage is. And I mean, we had done enough mistakes. We had enough learnings which kind of unleashed in building Jar. We knew as we scale, we had to, build a. We have to become full stack. Once you become full stack, you will have the economies of scale. You can optimize your supply chain. You can build better tech. Once you hit a PMF, there will be a non-linear outcome for the same effort. That is what we knew. And at the same time, once you assemble such a large population which is so motivated to save every day, it becomes easier to cross sell other services to them. And that was it. And a lot of things you learn as you move forward, and you bring in great team members. They will identify better opportunities for you. They will. You need to trust your team also. We got in a great finance guy. He was able to optimize the entire thing like a madman. And like every paisa, every, like, even if a growth team wants to experiment with, say, something with 10,000 rupees, there are approval processes. uh, so that discipline also brought in, made sure that we become profitable.
So maybe you're saying you might not know all the answers in the beginning, and some of this you'll figure out if you're doing the right things for the right cohort of people.
So
Right?
we can't bribe a consumer to start saving. That was very clear to us. That should be kind of innate. It should be intrinsic for them.
Okay, great. So, Nishchay, one topic that I always think a lot about is the different approaches or philosophies to competition. And every leader looks at it slightly differently. Famously, Andrew Grove said, only the paranoid survive. So, it's different philosophies. One is not right or wrong. But I'd love to understand your philosophy to competition. How do you think about it?
Uh, so competition is very necessary, or else some sort of complacency sets in. Competition will keep you on the edge, keep you pushing. No doubt, we love competition. Also, it kind of validates the idea that more smart people are working and identify the problem statement as like you. That is there, but at the same time, we see the market opportunity is too big. We're
Mm,
still in very early days. We
mm,
believe at least 100 million users will be saving on the platform on like 3 years. And target audience we think is about good 600 700 million Indians.
mm,
So I think there will be at least 5 6 people who will be large. We don't know who they are going to be, whether
mm,
they're already there or they will come in the future. We don't know.
mm,
We believe if you simply stay true to your mission statement, if you stay true to your consumers, if you talk to your consumers more often, if you actually care for them, if you can relate to them, they will make sure that you win. And this is a business where you make money on every transaction. So you don't have to get to 300 million users or 200 million users to see any money.
mm.
You will see money from day zero. How much, that's a different thing. But the thing is, you'll see money from day zero. A good 30 40 million users gives you incredible returns.
But you're in a, like you said, 30, 40 million users. Uh, uh, and it's a very emotional category because it's money and it's very personal, right? And hence the customer experience matters a lot. Um, the, that emotion can also change quickly for people, right? So, how do you define and characterize, measure superior customer experience? But the second part of it is defining it. But first part is defining it. But the second part is, how do you make sure every customer actually experiences that, uh, what you're trying to create?
First thing is, I manned the entire customer care for first 2 3 quarters, more than 3 quarters, I believe. I was, I mean, if you had any issues, if you had ping customer care, it's basically me who was answering to you to any
Mm,
consumer. So it was a very first-hand feedback on the product. We knew where users were feeling stuck, where they didn't understand, or where the product is failing. We had great sense of that understanding, and then slowly we identified people who has a similar level of urgency to help consumers, who take things very seriously. They have two parts of problems that they need to solve. One is address the consumer's concern. Second is to bring the insights of the consumers back to the product and engineering
mm,
team. That this is where users are feeling lost and all of those things. Lucky we have an amazing team. We run a lot of user research events. We run a lot of user days. We call it Jar Parivar, where we invite our consumers to office. We do this all over the country. It kind of gives us a first-hand feedback about how product is working in their lives.
mm,
This matters a lot. See, at the end of the day, consumers are very forgiving, in all honesty.
mm,
Uh, if they just need to get a sense and feeling that you're, yes, mistakes do happen,
mm,
but you're putting honest effort to make it right for them.
mm,
It's very simple, right? If there is heavy rains and there are a lot of trees fallen, and if there is no power at home, you do call the uh, power department, and like say in Bangalore, you call Bescom, and you're very empathetic towards them also, that it has rained crazy. There is trees fallen all over the place. They are doing all the things they can do to make sure that it's up and running. They just want to notify that, yeah, I also am facing it, and they are very forgiving on that day.
mm,
We are also, we follow the same philosophy. We put an earnest effort and we communicate this to the consumers that we are putting in an earnest effort to fix their issue. We are sorry that it happened. We acknowledge that it was a mistake. It could be anywhere the problem could have been, right? It could be your bank server could be down, my bank server could be down. jar could be down, there could be a bug in the system, it could be a lot of things. We just apologize at the first thing and then go about fixing the issue. That works. And we have done enough NPS studies where you successfully address a concern to the consumer, his overall confidence and trust on the platform only goes up.
No, I think that customer advocacy from top down matters a lot, because that sets the
Tone.
mode of operations in the organization, right? But that brings
Yes.
me to, and you talked about yourself taking the customer service calls first 3 quarters and so forth. So how would you describe your leadership style and JAR's organizational culture? How would you describe it?
See, as a very high agency team, it's very difficult. And I and Ms. Bas strongly feel that if we apply to this organization today as an outsider, I don't know what is the success rate of us getting into the company.
Very high.
we feel we feel very lucky that we got in early. But the thing is, we stopped doing micromanagement long back. We don't have update meetings per se. I mean, for us, dashboards are the update meetings, right? I mean, you know your AOPs, you know your metrics. If numbers are being met, that means very little update needs to be taken. You only do a lot of planning meetings, that what are we going to work on for the next quarter? What is the things that we want to do for next 6 months? Next 1 year, or if there is any new opportunity that comes across, a new epiphany, that's what we talk about. We are high functioning team where I don't have to ask them that, oh, conversion rate is at 61%, we have to take it to 64. What are their efforts? We don't have to do those things. They take care of it themselves. For I believe dashboards are a window to the past, and your sprint planning is a window to the future. So you take a look at your dashboards to get an understanding of what happened in the past. But there is a reason for rear view mirror to be so small and windshield to be so wide.
Look forward. You must look behind, but look forward more. Yeah, that's a
Yes.
very good metaphor. I hadn't heard that before, but it's a very good metaphor. So, you have been very successful. And like you said, you didn't have to pivot. And from the outside, right, Nishchay, when somebody is successful, when a company is successful, like JAR is, there is also a danger that people assume that everything will be easy. And you make it sound very easy. So, what is the advice you would offer other founders?
Before JAR, I was part of the startup ecosystem for good 6-7 years. Where at Bounce, and so far Misbah, he was before JAR for him also 6-7 years. Starting 2 startups, working part of many startups globally and all. We had enough learnings, we had enough distractions, we have done enough mistakes in the past life, which kind of all that energy was burnt out, like getting excited about every passing by idea and distracting the entire team, or distracting the entire plan and all of those things. We stopped doing all of those things. That's been a blessing to us, in all honesty. But the thing is, what we truly believe is, you take care of your team, they will take care of the business. It has been true for us from very early days. We didn't go for generalists, we went for subject matter experts. uh, Someone coming on growth is not someone who is learning growth on the go here. Someone who has done certain amount of growth in the past, and he will up his game, not start his game here. That's what we have done across. We believed in them, we backed them, we trusted them, and they trusted us in return. And we have been blessed. I believe you need to build a high functioning team and trust them. You can't sit and micromanage them.
No, I mean, congratulations and all the success. Obviously, the philosophy, the passion, the insight is all working, as we can see from the numbers. I want to wrap up by just asking you a few just personal questions, right? So you are in the financial services business. We talked about financial literacy. So what are you saving in JAR for what target?
So I have a newborn. I have 1-year-old son. So I'm saving, all the savings is going towards him, probably. In all honesty, I save like 500. I think about 800 rupees a day. That's what my savings is on JAR platform.
Okay.
And all the things that I will accumulate will probably will pass on as a family legacy to my son.
So you talked about financial literacy, right? So what's your guidance to people, percentage of income, how they should think about savings?
The savings is a very personal thing, and it's lot related to your past scars. uh, uh, we shouldn't go by general philosophies per se.
Mm,
For example, someone might have come from a home where they have lost their home for some family business.
mm,
So they might have lived in a rented home all their lives, and his dad only keeps telling that, or her dad keeps telling that used to have a big home, now we stay in a rented place. For them, fixing those scars is more meaningful in life than going by retire by 40 or whatever it
mm.
is. It could be her mother might have pledged her
Gold.
all jewelry for mission.
Mm,
So it could be, they might have lost all of it. It could be bringing back that gold to home.
mm,
It could be sending parents to one international trip once in their life. It could be upgrading the entire home, new furniture, new electricals, new home appliances, and all of those things. So you need to heal the scars of your past to enjoy the fruits of your
mm,
future. You can't move on in with your life so easily. We are end of the day, we are humans. We are
mm.
packed with emotions. You need to address those things. So your savings, your financial planning should empower you to fulfill those goals rather than some number in an Excel
Mm.
sheet.
No, I think that's very, very thoughtful, smart advice. So, what's with the uh, name Jar? It's a fun name, it's a cute name, but what triggered the name for you?
So we went with simple philosophy. We first thought Gulak would be a good
Mm,
name, but then we realized we will alienate the entire South India and to a certain extent the Northeast India. Yeah. We can't afford to do that, and we decided India is a very aspirational country, so let's pick a simple two-syllable word which kind of resonates with across the country, probably English, so that it cuts through language barriers. Jar is where our mothers used to hide some money every now and
yes,
then,
yes,
and that's where the jar came from.
yes. Yeah.
It's simple, it's two-syllable, everyone understands, and everyone uses this word in some way or other across the country. So we felt that's the right name.
It's a great word to brand, especially for your business. So you had earlier
Yes.
talked about, being an engineer. So what is the typical engineer in you, though you're a successful business guy now, but that you still think you take pride in and have as a habit still today?
So for me, I randomly walk into engineering, we sit with them, understand what they're building, and I don't want to go into the code. I say, open your
Mm,
databases. I want to look at your
mm,
database schema. That tells the rest of the story, like how coding might have been
mm,
done, how clean it would be, how systemic, how structural it is, how do they leave audit trail across data, material, and finance. Uh, that tells a lot of story around discipline in maintaining data. And once you maintain, see, end of the day, engineering's job is twofold: make the systems available to
mm,
consumers all the
mm.
time. Second, make sure that you capture every piece of data in a very structured manner so that it can be retrieved fast to the consumers. At the same time, leave enough room for analysts to look into the data and come up with more insights or whatever it is. So I keep going back to that. Looking at the database schema, for me, that's holy grail. Uh, f- uh, I know there's no SQL and all of those things, but end of the day, looking at database schema is like very therapeutic for me.
Yeah, I grew up in the days of having done a lot of schema design. So I understand what you're saying, but today I think hardly a lot of people understand because so much is getting abstracted out of engineering, and you don't actually have to be an engineer to code anymore, which is a good thing. You don't have to be an artist to design anymore. So, but in time, maybe there won't be anybody who will understand schema that much. But good that I found something in common with you. uh, last question, Nishchay. What's your hindsight? Something that you would do differently from any part of your life, not necessarily jar. What is hindsight for you?
Keep going back to this movie Slumdog Millionaire. Uh, where he's in the hot seat. He gets those 15 questions right, uh, and everything else in his life is
Yeah.
false. Everything else in his life is not true. And I think I correlate a lot
Uh,
to that, because I might have done so many wrong things and so many right things, because of which I am doing what I'm doing
uh,
today. As I said, it's a completely emergent behavior, not a engineered
uh,
behavior. Once in a while, uh, uh, I don't know when that streak comes out of me, that sometimes I become
uh,
unreasonable. It's like on a Friday evening, I tell I want this by Monday morning. I like why I feel like we should have this by
uh,
Monday morning. And been blessed enough to have a team which kind of now resonates with me on that. They say it's a hit or miss, but if it's a hit, it's a
uh,
big hit. So I don't want to take away anything that I've been all my life. I think it's a net sum of all the things that I've done, all the rights, all the
uh,
wrongs. I recently had the privilege to hear to Abhinav Midra, who brought the
good.
medal from
Yes.
Olympics, and he walked through his life, and I felt such a, I mean, complete opposites of the spectrum. His life has been so ridiculously planned. Uh, Everything. He had a coach for everything, and I'm here, uh, even I mean, blessed to have a company and a team which is so good, and at the same time listening to such a legend. At the same time, I felt, what if I was this disciplined? Like probably I would be working somewhere. I don't know. I wouldn't have taken this risks. So I'm just thankful about
Hindsight
my
is
life.
everything is good. All is good.
Yeah, all is well.
Good. Look, I really enjoyed this conversation. I think there are so many nuggets here to share with others. Thank you, Nishchay, for paying forward and having this uh, uh, candid conversation, and uh, appreciate.